Joe here, and this is a Sunday night bombing run, live unannounced broadcast, and we also have with us today B. Downing from sunny San Diego. That's 3 hours less than here in Puerto Rico. It's 8:12 p.m. in Puerto Rico, 5:12 p.m. in San Diego. It's 1:12 a.m. in Spain, and in Australia it must be like close to noon over there. So it's great to see you guys. I've been busy doing some things that are completely technical, like bought a new computer that completely crashed. So I'm back with my old laptop, but I'm still running these live streams, and hopefully each time we add a different element and make it more interesting. Okay, we have 18 people, which is good. I mean, this is completely unannounced. We have other cameras here, so I'm here in the studio and I can see your comments. We have a new background over there. You can see also the important, that's the door to the bathroom. Very important. So we're going to work on these things. But today we'll be doing a couple of things. We'll be unboxing and taking a look at the components of a most fearful sacrifice. And we also will be giving out 2 prizes today. And one is a Civil War game. It's not a most fearful sacrifice, okay? But it's a Civil War game, operational. Okay, and we have some more folks here. And we have somebody from Denmark. We got Robert. Okay, Robert says, hola. We have Tony's from Tony's Board Life. How you doing, Tony? Great to see you. I saw part of the show today. And New York Raider fan in upstate New York, of course. We have Daniel Silverthorne. Rain in San Diego. Yeah, it's pretty dry here. Here we had too much rain. And let's see, we have also Michael Mellon from Annapolis. Great to have you. And we have Mike Bertuccelli. Yes, sir. Nice to have you here too. So also DCB. Okay, there's a lag between the video and the sound. Yeah, I have to fix that, but you're not going to see my face too long in the video, so don't worry about that. And Robert Roberts also. So we have a lot of people coming in. It's a great thing I didn't announce this thing. Okay, Michael Mellon. Yes, and we have Leslie Davis. So we have 24 people. So let's get to business here, and this is called YouTube, not MeTube. So let's switch to the table cam. So today we'll be taking a look at the components of a most fearful sacrifice. And of course, you know about this game because it's recently published. There's a lot of videos being made. And today we're going to take a look at the components. And I think I'm 3/4 into the rule book. And there's a lot of good things to like about this game. It's a monster game, but it's not really that monstrous. It's just that everything's big. Okay, so we'll be taking a look at this game designed by Herman Luttman, and this is a copy that Herman sent to me, and I really appreciate that. And this is by Flying Pig Games. It's the 3 Days of Gettysburg. It's a magnificent production. We'll be taking a look at the game. And the game that we will be giving away, it's our first game giveaway because the CDG Solo system is not really a game, it's a player aid, is this game. This is Our God Was My Shield, Jackson's Valley campaign, designed by John Thiessen, and map art by Ilya Kudryashov, published by Hollandspiel. And just to give you an idea of what the game looks from behind, here's the back of the box. So this is not Great Campaigns of the American Civil War, guys. This is a more manageable, more streamlined, operational game. It has cards. It has a lot of how do you say, elements that provide uncertainty, which is something that I always like in a game. That's something that gives you choices, but also uncertainty. And that's something that I also like about Herman's game. You can plan everything that you want, but you won't be able to do a lot when the bullets start flying. And there's a lot of uncertainty that you can't control. You have to adjust your strategy. And of course, the next giveaway that we will be doing is for the CDG Solo system. But for now, so that you can participate in the giveaway, let me give you the keyword for the first giveaway. So let me put this thing to run here. Just a second. Okay, the first keyword for the game is #hour. #hour, because the game is Our God Was My Shield. So whenever a game has more than one word, usually the first word, I want to make it easy. You know, you don't have to write the whole title. So #hour, and you'll be participating in the giveaway of this game. And after we do the giveaway of this game, we'll announce then, don't write CDG now because it won't register your entry, okay? And I like to do it this way because what happens is if I give you just a single word generic for all the giveaways and you win the game, it may be a game you're not interested in or a game that you already have. So the game's going somewhere where it's not going to get appreciated. And that's the whole point of that. So let's get back to business here. And let's clear the table. And let's take a look at A Most Fearful Sacrifice. Okay. So here we are. And the box is pretty big, just to give you an idea of the enormous size of this game. Okay, so let's stand the game up for a second. Let me see if I can. So there you see the box standing up. And what we will do is we will place a standard GMT game like, let's say, Paths of Glory to its left. So you have an idea of the size. So there you go. See, it's a pretty big box. So if you have like bookcases like the ones I have there, it's not going to fit in the space for a regular game. So, but those are minor problems. You know, a game that is of quality and which is that you're not going to get rid of because you like it, you'll make the space for it. So let's say goodbye to Paths of Glory for now, and let's continue with the components here. Taking a look at the components. So here we are. So let's open this box. And again, this is a copy that Herman sent to me without the shrink wrap. And it wasn't him being rude. I asked him not to send me the shrink wrap so that he could open it and write some kind words there, autograph it. And he wrote something, some very kind words. So thank you very much, Herman. This game is going nowhere. So this is big box. As other boxes that you've seen by Flying Pig Games. This is labeled a monster game, but I really consider it it's just a big game. Okay, some of the components come in a bag like this, like the charts, and we have a dedication there to Rick Barber, who passed away recently. who is the artist that did the map and other very well-known Civil War maps. We have some counter sheets here. And let's take a look at the counter sheets first. Let's take a look at the units. These are big counters. Let me see if I can pull out here. I don't see I think they're 1-inchers. So they're big and thick. And because they are big counters, the information, is easy to read. And one thing that I like about this game, which I'd like to see more in tactical games, is that it minimizes the use of informational markers. There's some games out there, and I'm not gonna say which, that when you go to a convention, you see the game, and it looks more like a civil rights protest with everybody carrying a sign than a battlefield, and you have to lift the marker and to see what's going on. So it's this one. I think it's an intentional design decision to make the units deteriorate in a way that it just uses one marker. And usually you can place a marker, I think you can place it beneath the unit. But let's take a look first at what information these counters contain. These counters represent, let's say, demi-brigades. Each counter is not a brigade, but maybe a portion of a brigade. Here we see, for example, Kershaw's brigade. It consists of 3 counters. And how do you know that Kershaw's brigade consists of 3 counters? Because each of these units has a number of red stars on the right-hand side. So you see, that means that this particular brigade consists of three units. And I think it's a part of the design that Herman did it this way, because in the Civil War there were a number of units, regiments. Some had 100 men, other had 800. A lot of variation, and not each counter represents a regiment, but a brigade. But those large brigades are split into multiple counters. Now, let's take a closer look at the information that you see in each of these counters. So when we look, for example, at the top bar there, you see Kershaw, that's the brigade. But Kershaw's brigade belongs to a particular division, and that is signified by some initials. Here it's McLaw's division, and the corps to which McLaw's division belongs is expressed on the left-hand side, which would be the 1st Corps of the Confederate Army. Okay, so that's in a nutshell the unit subordination and that kind of information. Now the 2 numbers that you see there, the 9, let me see if I can get the 9 there, is the strength of the unit. And of course you're looking at the fresh side. The back side is what is called the battle-worn side. But this is the fresh side, has a strength of 9, and the 4 is the unit cohesion value, the cohesion value of the unit. So this deteriorates as units take hits, and we'll take a look at how that happens later on. And you'll see that it does so without a host of markers being thrown on the units, which is really kind of cool. So we have here, this first sheet has Confederate units, and of course you have infantry like Kershaw's and Semmes there, and then you have artillery, and then you see Deering's, the counter for Deering's battery, I suppose. It belongs to Pike's division, 1st Corps, and it has a strength of 10, and it gives you, the letter is, I believe, the type of artillery. And I just forgot what DM stands for right now. So, but that's the artillery. And of course, in a Civil War game, you also have cavalry. And I'm looking for cavalry in this particular counter sheet, but I don't see any. But you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 88 counters here, 1-inchers. Now let's flip this counter sheet to its back side. So here we see the back side. It's the same information, of course, with reduced values. And what you're going to see is that the strength is reduced, as well as the cohesion rating. So here we see Kershaw. Cohesion rating used to be a 4, now it's a 3, and the strength is reduced. And you see this is the battle-worn side, and that is signified by the triangle that you see there. So it's a way of keeping track of deterioration of the unit in a very simple manner, and we will see how that works in conjunction with the shaken markers that are used and that you can place beneath the unit so you can see the information on the top of the unit counter, which is what makes this game so nice to look at. Okay, so that's the back side of the first counter sheet. Let's take a look at the next counter sheet that we have here. This one has units of both sides. We have here Confederates on the left and the Union on the right. Yes, Michael, that's an aspect that I think is very interesting, because if you were to place, give one counter for each regiment, like in a regimental game, you're going to have, there's a lot of regiments that were, by this time in the war, they were down to 100 men, some even less. So you're going to have a lot of insignificant units and therefore a lot of stacking situations. So here we see more Confederate infantry, artillery, and you see the color coding pertains to, here you see the 3rd Corps, units of the 3rd Corps. So here we see artillery. And on this side we have Union counters, Union units. And I like, because the counters are so big, you have that detail. For example, here you see Webb's brigade, and you have the suave uniforms, which makes it so nice to look at. Everything nice and clear. And I mean, and for guys my age, you can read all the values there very easily. Nice to handle. The counters are really, really thick, very nicely done. Yes, if Aardwolf would clip these counters, it would really be a crime. Yes, I don't think he has a clipping schedule for these counters. So here we see the Union units. And you see here that on their front sides, you see cavalry. And this is another I think, intentional design feature by Herman. This is the front side that I've been showing you, and you saw that the battle-worn triangle symbol is usually on the back side, but for cavalry units, it's on its front side, because cavalry units operate a little bit differently. So on the back of each cavalry unit, I'm going to punch this one, is their dismounted side. So I think what Herman did is, you see there that Gamble's brigade has 4 counters. And it's not that it's a huge brigade. I think it's to represent the unit in a way that if it takes losses, you eliminate 1 of the counters and you still have 3 left. And you can signify if they're dismounted or mounted. So I think it was intentional in order for the cavalry to save us from having to place mounted and dismounted markers on the units, or having some other games have what do you say? You call it dismounted or counters. So I think that was intentionally done. But of course, one of the things that I intend to do with this game is, of course, I'm going to keep on filming edited videos, and I have planned a line of sight video. And you're going, what's a line of sight video? Well, if you don't have this game, you can download the rules, and it has a bunch of line of sight examples. But you won't be able to understand them unless you have the physical game and set them up. So I'm going to do those exact examples that are in the rule book, which of course I can't screw up, and I'm going to do it in an edited way. So you're going to see the lines showing you whether there's a line of sight in a situation, when it is blocked, and when it is obscured. And so that's coming up. That's one of the edited videos, line of sight video. And we have here John. Oh yeah, we saw these ones. Sorry about that. I'm still trying to get used to this thing. And yes, they have different images on them. I think that gives the game more more interest, right? Because we have Alan Salazar. Nice to see you, Alan. So let's continue here. So these counters, more Union counters, you can see them there. Got Suaves. And there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 9. I see 9 figures, I think, in most of these. And you see some units have huge combat strengths. Like you see there, Fisher's Brigade. Fisher's Brigade consists of 2 counters, one with a strength of 13. So it's a huge contingent, but the quality is not anything to write home about. 2, see. So you see units there. So these are 88 additional counters. Now let's take a look at this other sheet, and one of the counters fell off. And this has additional Union units. Of course, the Union Army was a lot bigger. So we have artillery there, more infantry, the 12th Corps. And then we have these markers. And these markers are the ones we use in conjunction with the unit in order to determine how the unit deteriorates. And I'll show you, when I show you the rule book, we'll stop at that part so you can take a look at that. So that's the 4th counter sheet of large 1-inch counters. And now come the small counters, which judging from where I am here, I think these are 5/8 of an inch. And these are all the markers, well, apart from the shaken markers, all the ones that you would use in the game. So here they are, okay. And 5/8 of an inch, and you will probably wonder, why are their size different? And I think the idea is because these you would place on top of the unit, and therefore you can still see what the unit is beneath. So I think, and I like that, because sometimes there's no need for markers to be that big. And in this game, stacking is very limited. You can stack, I think, up to 2 units. So there's not a lot of stacking. The hexes are big, and we're going to take a look at them. So we see here victory point hex markers, skirmish orders. You give orders in this game, but it's not a complex order system. It's very straightforward. You have markers for artillery that moved. You have hasty works. You have more here on this side. Game turn and day markers. Bivouac. We have some markers for groups. I think, yes, for cases where I think the groups are when you want to reduce counter clutter, but I don't think there's a lot of counter clutter in this game at all. So here we see this is the front side of the sheet. Now let's take a look at the back side. Okay, so here we see the back side. Division General Casualty, of course. There's officer casualties here. Fortunes of War. You're going to see that this game uses a system. It's a card system, but it's really like it's a combination of card and chit pull, but using cards. And some of these cards are Fortune of War cards. These are events that you don't have much control. You can seed one of these events per turn, I believe, but other events you don't. So you have here more markers. These are the back sides of, see breastworks here. Skirmish order. I haven't gotten to the skirmish order yet, so that's where I think I am basically. So this is the last counter sheet. So we're talking about 4 counter sheets of 1-inch counters and 1 counter sheet of 5/8 of an inch counters. So let's continue with what's inside the box here. Okay, we have our bag of dice, and the color coding in the dice is very interesting because you throw 3 differently colored dice, and you read the black die as a 10, the white as a single, and then some events, some features of the game, you have to consult the red die to see what happens. And we have 2 decks of cards here. Let's take a look. Okay, so here we have the cards. So see, you're going to have some cards that are events, like faulty fuses here. And some of these cards you can play immediately, others you can play later. And there's always a main event and then a default event. And the default event is that you can move 1 unit, a minimum move, which is, I think, 1 hex, unless you're on a pike or something, you can move 2 hexes, or issue fire combat, or you can do whatever it is stated here in the card. So you have these events. These, of course, affect the Confederate side. And this is the Fog of War card. You have to roll here, see what happens here. And so you're going to have sometimes a chance to move your opponent's unit to create those situations where, you know, you have these kind of dumb moves done in the Civil War. I don't know if Sickles' move into Devil's Den is one of those, but that you can do here. And here we have Replacement General for the 3rd Corps, and his rating is inept. And when a corps is activated, you roll here to see which divisions can be activated. And I believe if you get a red result, then you can't roll on the division card. So whenever it is your turn, you don't know which formation is going to be activated and which units belonging to that formation you'll be able to activate. So that creates a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of back and forth because eventually you're flipping cards and the cards will dictate the order of play. So here we have early, and there's no leaders. Well, strike that. There are no leader counters in the game, but of course the leaders are represented in the cards. You have here early, and he's rated as an average commander. And I haven't gotten to the part what's the difference between an average and some other rated commander. But when you roll here on his core, if he's the better he is, the more units can be activated. You have Johnson. Johnson is another division commander in the 2nd Corps, Rhodes. And you have here the color coding that is associated with the counters. And here we have Heath. He's the 1st division commander at the beginning of the game, looking for shoes. So here you have his card. He's rated as poor. So you have more commanders here. Friction of war cards. So these are like penalties that the game imposes as the game, as the battle rages. Of course, everybody's getting tired, dazed, confused. So this is like a penalty that it is imposed on the units to recreate that. So we have more events here. A lot of events. Lee. Okay. So these are cards. This one you can hold. Longstreet. Got Ewell and Heel. So here are the core commanders. And we have Hood, who's he's the guy in the uniform. There in the box cover. So this is one of the 2 decks of cards. Let's take a look at the next deck. So here we go. Now here we have the Union cards. This is commander. I think Hancock is one of. There's some commanders that are commander-in-chief, and you can hold and conduct actions with them. Hancock is one of them. So you have a replacement general here, and you have some divisional commanders for the Union. So the border is a color coding. So that's why you see some colors are different. You have more of these here. Some events here. Hurrah. Take those colors. Those an event you can hold. And of course, George Gordon Meade. So these are all Union cards. There's an event here. Leadership. Another card event you can hold. This is an event also that you can hold. Some you can hold and some you have to play. And it tells you in the top of the card. So those are the event cards. Now, we still have the books and the maps. So let's take a look now at the books. And what I'll do is I'm going to move the box away for now. And until we get to the maps. So let's take a look at the books. There's a rule book and there is a scenario book. Okay, let's take a look first at the rule book. And it's full color, it's glossy paper. You have here John Bell Hood on the left-hand side here. And that's, you see the quote there on which the game is based. Let's see if we can take a closer look. I knew that if the feat was accomplished, it must be at a most fearful sacrifice as brave and gallant soldiers as ever engaged in battle. So that's words by John Bell Hood. And here we have the information on a typical unit counter that we talked about. And this is, of course, the battle-worn side. You have the SWAB uniforms there. So the rules are 2 columns. And here's one of the aspects that I really, really like about this game. Unit support. Okay, why is unit support important? In order to determine a unit's cohesion value, the unit cohesion value is not automatically what it says here in the counter. It depends. And you don't need a marker to determine what the unit cohesion value is. That's what I like so much. Okay, unit cohesion. Let's take a look here. We have here, for example, if a unit has a shaken marker, its cohesion rating is going to be reduced by 1. And as long as a shaken marker is with the unit, right? And if the unit doesn't have unit support, it is reduced by another 1 or minus 1. It can never go below 0. So that is such an elegant way of determining cohesion without additional markers. Like you don't have to place a numbered marker to determine what is the current cohesion of the unit. Now, what is unit support? And these rules are a summary, but it's very commonsensical, right? You have here that in order to have unit support, any of these conditions, if they apply, the unit has unit support. If there's another unit from the same division adjacent to the testing unit, and the other unit is not itself shaking in the woods, rocky woods, or town hex. Okay, so if it's from the same division adjacent, not shaken, and not in those hexes. The second condition that we see here is, let's point here so here we are, that the testing unit cannot be in woods, rocky woods, or town, okay, in order to have support. The third condition is that the unit is in a hex with a hasty works or breastworks marker. So presence of friendly units is irrelevant. So here the unit can be by itself, there's no adjacent friendly units, but if it's in a hasty work or breastwork marker, it is considered to have unit support. So that means its cohesion rating is not reduced by 1 by not having unit support. And artillery units derive unit support from any adjacent infantry or in the same hex or dismounted cavalry that is not shaken. So shaken units are useless in providing unit support. Then artillery units never provide unit support. So when you're calculating the cohesion for an infantry unit, if there's an artillery unit next to it, it doesn't matter, doesn't count. And then you have here broken units that are attempting to return to the map. In this game, units are not eliminated. The word is broken, and they may return to the map or not. But broken units attempting to return to the map automatically have unit support during that turn. And here's the important brigade exception. Any non-artillery unit that is stacked with or adjacent to another unit from the same brigade always has unit support regardless of the above listed cases. So you can be stacked in a Gettysburg town hex with another unit from your same brigade, you're going to have unit support. Stacked in woods, you're going to have unit support if there's 2 units from the same brigade. So what does this force you to do? Of course, it forces you to keep your units together, because there are many games where players just borrow a unit from a division and add it to a stack of another division, and you do that 3, 4, 5 turns in a row, and then there's no semblance of say unit integration. You have all your units mixed together, and it becomes it's kind of unrealistic. It's not that it doesn't happen; it happens, but it forces you to keep your units together. And yes, Murphy's Law shows up in every battle. That's right. That will happen. Okay. Okay, so yes, that's John Bell Hood had some sleeves, but I think he didn't have an arm in that photograph. That was after he lost that arm. So, okay, so let's continue here. We see the rule book, and that's one of the concepts that called my attention. What an elegant way of determining cohesion without a bunch of counters. Here we see, for example, the case I was talking to you about, cavalry, dismounted and mounted cavalry. The cavalry dismounted status is signified on the backside. And here we have the marker, shaken marker. The yellow side is, you place it to signify that a unit is shaken. And you place it under the unit. And why I think Herman used that bright yellow color? Because it's going to show anyway. You're going to be able to see that the unit with the bright yellow colored marker beneath it is shaken. And then this marker, red, this bright red, is you use, if all units in the hex are shaken, you just place this marker on the bottom, and that's what it means. So I really like this type of usage of markers because I like to be able to glance, take a look at the map and know what's going on without having to sift through counters. And this is the other, I think this is the end result of this type of system when you're using markers in this manner. See, you have here the fresh side of this particular unit, which is green. You see that top, the 10-4, that's a fresh side. If it takes a hit, then you place a shaken marker beneath, and the effect of the shaken marker, which I'm going to show you here, the effect of the shaken marker is that the strength and the cohesion ratings are reduced by 1. So that means that that unit that was a 10-4 now is a 9-3, just by having that marker beneath. If it takes another hit, then you remove the shaken marker and you flip the unit to its battle-worn side, which is the side that you see there with the white triangle. Now it went from a fresh strength of 10 to 5, so it's half its strength. But notice that the cohesion was reduced by 1. But of course, that's the cohesion you start with. If you have unit support, it'll stay at 3. If it doesn't have unit support, it's going to go down to 2. See? So it depends on the situation on the battlefield. Then if it takes another shaken result while battle worn, the effect is again the same. You reduce the combat strength by 1 and the cohesion by 1. And then if it is already battle worn and shaken and it takes another shaken result or depletion, then you have to venture the fate of the unit on the break test table to see if the unit is broken and removed from the game. So you see there, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different statuses of deterioration, states of deterioration, using the same marker and flipping the unit front to back. So I really like that type of way of determining losses. It's very clean. So here we have the cards in the game. We talked about the cards. You have core activation cards. And you're going to see that in this game, it has a lot of characteristics of a chit pool game. But what is the problem about chit pool? It's, in its pure form, it's too chaotic. I mean, and we know that when the bullets start flying, you know, the best laid plans go out of the window, but still, there's things that you can do. So one criticism of it's called the 100% chit pool system is that it's too random, too chaotic. And here what happens is that you can assign your brigades, your divisions in each corps priorities. There can be one division that you're going to give it a first top priority in the number 1 slot, then the second another division in the number 2 slot, and a third division. So you don't know when that corps is going to get activated, and the best division that will have a chance of being activated is the first one. So you are mitigating the chance element here with your decision making. So that's what's so interesting here. And you see there, for example, for Longstreet, the first corps, if you roll, let's say, a 1, you can activate the division you placed in priority 1 and 1 hex of Alexander or Eshelman's artillery. Just 1 hex where there's artillery from those from Alexander or Eshelman. Now, if you roll a 6, which is better, you can activate the divisions that you placed in priority 1 and 2. And then you can activate all the units of Alexander and Eshelman's artillery. So you can have this card pop up and you have a lousy result, or it could be a really nice 6. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and of course that is what makes the game so interesting, and it forces you to adjust your strategy. So here we see a division activation. After when you activate your division, then you would find the card for that division and roll here. Some results here would be in red. For some poor commanders, that means that you don't go to the next step, to rolling on the division card. Here we have artillery, special activation card. We have replacement generals, because of course generals can get killed, friction of war, fog of war. and Commander-in-Chief cards. You can hold, so that's another way of mitigating the random element here with these Commander-in-Chief cards. So it's a nice use of cards to expand on what's really a chit pull system enhanced with decision making and planning. So here we have the rulebook continues. And I'm not going to go through the combat system here. I just wanted to show you the components. There's some examples of play. And what I was talking to you about, the line of sight, is here. You see, if you have the game, of course, you can set it up and you can understand what's going on with the line of sight. But if you just download this book from the website, it's going to be hard to understand the line of sight example. And line of sight is the kind of thing that can turn off a person from a tactical game. If line of sight is so complicated that you're going to be measuring like a, I don't know, you're going to be like a, feeling like an, I don't know, like a farmer measuring terrain, stuff like that, you're not going to want to play the game. But here, we see the line of sight rules. And we're going to film the situations. You're going to have situations when the firing and target unit are in the same elevation. And then there's situations where the firing unit is at a lower elevation. And you see here in each one of these examples, this is what I'll be filming, these orange boxes. And then you have the opposite, when the firing unit is higher than the target hex. So that's going to be the line of sight. And really, I was thinking a line of sight example here for this game is really an excuse to show off this beautiful map by Rick Barber. You know, there's nothing wrong with a map when it's beautiful. And so that's an excuse also to show off that map, which was one of the last maps that he did. And it's really a masterpiece because it's so big that the detail is more appreciated than when it's a regular size map. So we have here additional rules, movement, assault combat. There's fire combat and assault combat, entrenchments, and the rules end at page 24. The other video that I'll be making is the extended example of play found here. And I like to make extended examples of play because, listen, I'm learning the game. If I play by myself, I'm going to screw up the rules, and it's going to be a video that's going to be good for nothing. So here, with the comprehensive example of play, it's pretty comprehensive, but I think it's going to be like maybe half an hour, 45-minute video, maybe an hour. There's a lot of illustrations here, and everything looks clear. And here we have the game credits and the designer notes by Herman Luttman, and he also signed there. That's the advantages of getting the game from the designer without the shrink wrap. So thanks again, Herman. I really appreciate it. And I said before, this game is going nowhere. And we have a handy index, which is always good when we need to consult the rules. So that is the rule book for the game. Now let's take a look at the next book that is included with the game, and that is the scenarios book. So here we see it is also glossy full color, and there's, I think, 13 scenarios, and they range in size. For example, the first scenario here, let's take a closer look, and it is the slaughter pen. And this is a scenario from the second day, a learning scenario. So very few units. And you'll see that the scenario has a depiction of the terrain on the map that is actually used. And that's what you see there in color. And I know that Flying Pig made some boundary little player aids, like their tabs that you just use to mark the limitations of the board during these scenarios, so that you may want to use that, but you can use any straight edge, I suppose. So that's the first scenario. We have another scenario here, which is you will be coming around the mountain. Another small scenario, but this is from July the 1st. So this is a situation involving the Confederate Second Corps. And you can see here the northern map. This happens to the north of the town of Gettysburg. So that is the second scenario. The third scenario is on the next page, and that is the Devils to Pay. Another small scenario, and this is Heath approaching on the morning of July the 1st. So this is the start of the full battle with Heath running into Gamble and Devon. So it's going to use one map also. Then we have on the flip page, we have scenario 4, an unexpected encounter, medium size, well, or length, this one. So this one, 3 possible lengths, medium, large, and full day. Okay. So I don't know how much of the map this uses. We can check here. So it just uses the north map. There you go. It's a pretty involved scenario. The next scenario that we have here is scenario number 5. And that's into the whirlpool. Small scenario, July 2nd. And this one involves a wheat field in Hawks Ridge and Devil's Den. So this is going to be the southern map. Here we see the portion of the map. Now we have scenario 6. And this is stand to it and give them hell. Now this is again a small scenario hitting the Wheatfield Devil's Den. So this is going to be again the southern map, and you can see the portion of the southern map that is used, which is very small there. Then we have the next scenario, which has the name of another game designed by Herman Luttman, Longstreet Attacks, also second day scenario, but it involves the 1st Corps assisted by some brigades of Anderson's division of the 3rd Corps. This is considered to be a large scenario. When we look at the map, the area that is covered, we see it here. It's practically, you use the whole southern map. So now we go to scenario 8, and that's like hailstones upon rooftops. Okay, so this is a medium scenario, and this centers around Cemetery Hill and Culp's Hill on July the 2nd. So we're going to see the map here, the area. So we use here the northern map for that scenario. So you see most of the scenarios just use one map, because one of the situations that people, including myself, complain is when a game is so large you can't fit it on your table, then it's hard to get it on the table. But you see most of the scenarios here involve just one map, and others portions of one map. Here you have scenario 9, the enemy is here. This covers the key fighting on the 2nd day of battle, and it uses the whole battlefield. So this one is a scenario that uses the full map. That's scenario 9, and that's why you have over here the depiction of both map sections there. And we have now scenario 10. It has the name of another Herman Luttman game, In Magnificent Style. And this is a small scenario that recreates Pickett's Charge. And you're going to see here the area that that scenario covers. It uses a portion of both maps. So there you have it. It uses, I think, a portion of both maps. And then we go to scenario 11, One Continuous Roar, a small scenario that goes, recreates a struggle for Culp's Hill on the 3rd day of the battle. And Culp's Hill, that's in the north map. So Here's that part of the northern map. You see here the colored part, very small section of the map. That's scenario 11. Now we go to scenario 12, if I can find it. You see, I think oh, okay, here we are. All this is my fault. So this is the grand battle scenario. Of course, you use the whole map here. And you can see the orders of battle here. So reinforcement schedules, a picture of both map sections. And then there's another scenario, which is called Tattered Flags, which is the name of another Herman Luttman game. And this is it says a more open grand battle scenario that will cover all 3 days of the Battle of Gettysburg. So this is another campaign scenario. It has, I guess, some options that I'm not aware of. So you have various flavors of campaign games or full 3-day games. And that's the scenario book. We've been going on for, man, almost an hour. Unboxing a game. So here we have the player aid cards. And these, I think, are, yes, here we see the orders of battle with a turn track there. And we on the other side, we have a scenario setup guide. I like the color coding. Makes everything a lot easier to set up. Then we have here the displays, the command displays, where you place the cards by priority. For example, you set up Longstreet's first corps, and you place a divisional card for a particular division here. And in these three, the third priority has really a lousy chance of getting activated. So you have to count on with on the first priority, and it's sometimes you'll get the second priority, sometimes not even that. So this is a mechanism that mitigates the randomness of what is a chit pool mechanism. And here we see A.P. Hill's third corps, and of course Ewell's second corps. And here we have some boxes where if you want to group, use like off-map boxes to reduce counter clutter. And we have broken unit box and crushed box. So units can be crushed, and can't remember what that means. I haven't gotten that far. Here we see the Union command display. You have, I think this is one of the Union command displays. Sedgwick's 6th Corps, Slocum's 12th Corps. You have some, these are like the default command cards. So these always stay the same. For the 1st Cavalry, which this is Buford's cavalry division with Gamble and Devon's brigades that begin the game on the map. And of course you have the group boxes and places to place the units that have been removed from the map. And here we have Reynolds' 1st Corps, Sickles' 3rd Corps, and Sickles only has 2 divisions that he can screw up with. And we have Sykes' 5th Corps and Hancock's 2nd Corps. So those are the command displays. So you're going to need, I mean, depending on the scenario that you play, of course, if you play the full battle, you're going to need a lot of space for the maps, and the displays will take some spaces too. We have some more player aids. These ones are the ones I think some people were complaining the print was too small. So here they are. You have here the sequence of play. You can see it here, and I wonder if sequence of play cards would help here. Not so sure, but there's a significant number of steps. And here we have the command table results. You got rally table, break test, entrenchments, skirmish orders. You have to roll. So all of this is uncertainty that is added to the game. This is one side, and here we have the terrain effects chart. And here we have the effects on movement, stacking, fire, and assault combat. So the attacker or the defender. And you have some notes, special notes there that apply. And here we have the different terrain types. And finally we have another, this is the one that has the combat results table. And you can see it's also color coded. Has results in green, yellow, and red. And depends on, remember that the die rolling here is, the black die represents tens, the white die singles. So you have the possible results. Fire combat cohesion tests. So here you roll to see. And there's a lot of different results, which is also kind of cool. It's not just didn't pass the test and it's broken. No, it can be shaken, shaken one, and skedaddle, which is a form of retreat. Skedaddle 1 hex, retreat 1 hex, retreat 2 hexes, 3 hexes. So there's a lot of different possible results, which makes the game less predictable in terms of combat results. So we have here a summary of column shifts for fire combat and assault combat. And we have the assault combat results matrix there. Okay, so that's play rate. And of course, in tribute to Rick Barber, the Flying Pig Games included this very nice memorial sheet here. And he will be sorely missed because his maps were truly unique. And with that, now we go to examining the map boards. So I can't place both together because this table just won't fit both together. So, oh, I got stuck here, and you didn't see the Rick Barber. The camera is stuck here. Just a second. Let me see here what happened. Camera got stuck. Okay. Okay, let's get back here. Okay, we're back. For some reason, the camera got stuck there, which is weird. So this is the memorial sheet for Rick Barber here. Very nice touch. Okay, and now we're going to take a look at the map. So I should look at more at the monitor. The screen is, I'm frozen now. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So let's take a look at I think this is going to be the northern map. See if I can open this. This is huge. This is, let's see. I'm going to have to put it even sideways here. This is huge. Okay. This is the southern map first. See if I can place it this way. Okay, here we go. So this is a southern map. Okay. Let me just to give you a panoramic view. See, this is just the southern map here. And here we see let me punch out one of the units so you can see the relative size of the unit with the hexes. So we'll place a unit here in the intersection there. So there you go. So this is a 1-inch unit. It is huge. And it still sits comfortably in that hex. And that is so great, you know, that you can focus on an area on the map and know exactly what's going on, what type of terrain. You can determine the elevation. Is also color coded. The darker greens mean lower elevations, and it goes up to yellow and into brown, like we see here. So here we see various degrees of elevation. Some are steep elevation changes. Others, the units you don't have to pay. Some elevation changes like this one here, you don't have to pay anything extra to go up there. You pay extra when you're going up through one of these, I think is a ridge marker or something like a ridge symbol. So this would be big round top and little round top here. Of course, this is Taneytown Road, which leads to the town of Gettysburg on the northern map. And we look here to the left here, see big round top, gonna see Devil's Den. Hawks Ridge. See a lot of, see the rocks there. It's very, very well done. Handwritten, so it gives that personalized touch. So this is it's very nice. I can spend, I don't know, hours looking at this map. It has the names of the houses. Gilbert there, W.G. Gilbert. And Rick Barber, of course, used to live near Gettysburg, so he would know this as the palm of his hand and research the area. So this is the southern map. Let me go back here again. But I'm going to freeze here now on purpose. Okay, now it's frozen on purpose, so I can place the northern map in the same space and spare you the trying to jockey for position the map. So I'm pulling out the northern map now, taking a look at that one. So let's orient the map properly. Okay, so let's unfreeze now. Now we have the northern map, and you can see the town of Gettysburg featuring prominently there in the center of the map. Let's take a look at the town. See the square there? Square here. Individual houses. And you can still make out the hexes and everything. So that's a great thing about this size. You can see all the terrain features. Very easy to understand. We have a rail line here. Okay. And here we have a famous Seminary Ridge. And I think this is from where the Heath's boys came. This way, which is Chambersburg Pike. So they're going to run into Devon and Gamble there. And they're trying to hold while John Reynolds moves up his first Union Corps. So we have here the Seminary Ridge. You can see the McDonald's house there. It's a joy just to take a look at this. Pitzer's house there in Pitzer's Hill. It's a very, very nice map. Of course, then we have Cemetery Hill here, Culp's Hill. You got a pretty good chunk of the terrain to the east of Gettysburg also. So that is the northern map. The northern map. And we got ID Jester. Yes, it is definitely a nice map. So we have, yes. Happens to me all the time. No one to play the games with. That's why I went into this type of activity. Okay. Yes, this is the kind of map that you would like to have two of them. One to play the game and one just to leave on the, just to take a look at it. It is truly a work of art. Yes, definitely it is. You're going to watch Gettysburg. That's a long movie. Now, I just wanted to ask you guys, I added like a background music that goes down in volume when I talk, and it goes up a little bit when I don't talk. And I haven't heard any comments from you, so I guess it's not annoying. Okay, so that's another purpose of this type of video, unannounced. So, okay, so let's now remove this map, and we're going to do the first raffle for today before my camera runs out of battery. So that is the Most Fearful Sacrifice, component-wise. Okay, we have 39 people. Okay. You don't hear any music? Okay, that's no problem. So the music is not hurting the broadcast. Okay. Okay, so let's go into the raffle. Okay. And let me see if I can get this out of the way here. Okay. So let's go to the screen that we're going to use for the raffle here. Share screen. And okay, the keyword is hour. You have it there. And we will be raffling. Today's game is Our God Was My Shield. So this is the game that we will be raffling. Let me see if I can put it in the, there's the game. Our God Was My Shield, designed by John Thiessen, map art by Ilya Kudryashov, published by Hollenspiel. And we have a total of 24 entries. So here we go. Let's see who the winner is. And I have to hit this button over here. So see if I can find it. Here it is. Here we go. And the winner is Alan Salazar. Yes. So Alan, you won the game. You won the game. I didn't show you the video with the instructions. I'm going to show the video in a little while. But it's basically you have to write to me at stukajoe@gmail.com with your handle and your shipping address. And I give you a code. You place it. You write the code on the how do you say, on the comment description of this video, and then I'll send you. Game goes your way. So, Alan, congratulations. It's great. So let's see here if I can unshare right now this for some reason. doesn't want to. Let me, just a second. Okay, I got it. Now we're here. Okay. So let's go with the video of the contest rules, which I should have done before, but you know, we'll do it now because we still have to do one more raffle. So here we go. Participation is limited only to individuals in the United States and Puerto Rico. To participate, write the keyword shown during the live broadcast in the comments section. One winner per prize will be selected randomly during the broadcast. And within 24 hours, the winner must send an email to stukajoe@gmail.com stating the winner's YouTube handle and shipping address. An email with a verification code will be sent to the winner, and the winner must enter the verification code in the comments section of the giveaway video. And upon winner confirmation, the prize will be mailed to the winner's address. Okay, great. So congratulations to Alan. So you know what to do, Alan. And this is a game, operational. It has cards. This is what the map looks like. So there's some uncertainty there. And it has a pretty decent rating at Board Game Geek, so I hope you enjoy it. It's about a topic that's really interesting, Jackson's Valley Campaign, which is brilliant. It was Stonewall Jackson at his best. So congratulations, Alan. So within 24 hours, send me that email. Now we're going to go to the next prize, which is the CDG Solo System Volume 1. And for that particular prize, let me place what you have to state here. Okay, we go to the second raffle. The keyword here is hashtag CDG. Hashtag CDG for this one. And this is the first volume. GMT already announced the second volume coming up, and it has already about 620 people signing up. So that one's going to come out relatively soon. They publish first the materials, and then you can download them, and then they publish these materials that you purchase. So this is the CDG Solo System, and I'm going to give you allow some time. Let's take a look. Got everybody here. We got 42 people. Man, it's too many people. And I don't like to announce these things. It's too many people. No, but the idea is, you know, we'll be giving out some games as much as I can. And the idea, again, is for the contests are prize specific. So like if you hate CDGs or you don't like to play with this system, remember Jack Rady's very wise words. Don't be a schmuck. Just don't participate. But this way we ensure that everybody who does participate has at least some interest in the prize that is given, so it finds a nice home. And that's the whole purpose. So this is the CDG Solo System. I'm not going to open it because I think you've seen videos about what it... Well, let's open it. What the hell? And by the way, I'm going to be doing, every time you see a raffle, I'm going to probably include one of these. I have various copies of these. I have the rules summary here. And the whole idea of the CDG Solo System, which derives itself from the CDG method, solo method, is a way of playing card-driven games in an entertaining way, but where the game retains that element of uncertainty that is that happens in CDGs when you play face-to-face. So when you play with this system and you play the central powers, for example, in Paths of Glory, you don't know which of the 5 cards on the display you will be able to choose, to pick, even if the card is face up. So it introduces uncertainty to the active side that you are playing. But if you're playing the Central Powers and you look at the display of the allies, they may have only 2 cards face up there or 3 cards face up. So you don't know if they'll be able to respond to the move that you're making. And because it reduces the range of options, the game moves quicker. And it is all it is made for this to be a play rate so that you play the game faster with no, analysis paralysis, and you enjoy it. And the whole idea is you play the game, get to know the cards, so that when you play face to face, you have a chance at winning against someone who actually plays these games very often. And here we see it includes this custom-made die with the possible results, very nicely done. And I think the volume 2 will include a black die, so you'll have dice for each of the sides. And there's going to be, I think, a volume 3 with more displays to play games that are multiplayer, where you have 4 or 5 sides. So here we have the play sheet for Caesar, Rome versus Gaul. So it has an explanation of what the results mean, which is normally the same for all games. In some cases, there'll be a different result for this particular result here. And some game-specific rules, because not all CDGs are created equal. But the whole point is that this doesn't add a lot of weight in terms of complexity. It's very straightforward. And there comes a time you can commit. You won't even need the displays. You just place the cards in on the board, on the map, or on the table, and you roll the die, and you'll know what to do with it. So the idea is for you to spend time playing the game, and for this to be a way to help you play the game and make it interesting. Here's the player sheet for Illusions of Glory. And you can see there it never gets to 2 full pages. Here's the one for the People. Commands and Colors Ancients, and in the second volume is Commands and Colors Napoleonics is coming up. You got Washington's War here. Commands and Colors Samurai. And Paths of Glory. This is the first one that I did. And here we have the displays. So we have a green colored display and a blue colored display. And volume 2, I think it's going to be red and yellow, something like that. So, and I'm not going to call this a counter sheet. Yeah, let's call it a counter sheet. A 4-counter sheet. There you go. To mark the number of cards remaining. In some games, you have to mark those. And the maximum hand size. For example, in Paths of Glory, you always have 7 cards. But other games, the hand size can vary, can be increased or decreased. So that is, and don't worry, this is not the copy I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you a brand new, untouched copy of the CDG Solo System. So I'm just going to give a little bit more time. Okay, we have Craig there. Okay, so we have now coming up, we're at 1:20 something. This has been too long, so we are going to go to the next raffle. So let's share the screen once again. Let's see if it wants to show up. Share the screen. Let me take out the comment. Yes, Mike, it's the smallest counter sheet in the world. Maybe that's in the Guinness Book of Records. So everybody write hashtag CDG. Hashtag CDG. Let me put this in the... So let's go, hashtag CDG. And here we go, we got 21 entries. That's a lot of people. So here we go. The second giveaway. And the winner is New York Raider fan. Great. So New York Raider fan, you just won the CDG Solo System, Volume 1. So send me again your address, your handle to stukajoe@gmail.com, and that will initiate the process and it will be on your way. So congratulations to Alan Salazar and to New York Raider fan. That's great. So we have here, CDG Solo System is going out tomorrow with Our God Was Our Shield, and stay tuned for the videos that are coming up. Those are edited videos on A Most Fearful Sacrifice. Okay? And it's going to be a line of sight video. It's going to be my first video. Is going to be a line of sight, and maybe it's useful. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the first of various line of sight videos which may be helpful for tactical games. Okay? So thanks for tuning in and holding on there for an hour and a half. On a Sunday night, we still have 36 people. So I want to thank all the viewers for showing up at these. And I'm going to keep doing them unannounced, but let me give you a little, since you guys are here, let me just give you a little hint. I may do them on Fridays, may do them on Saturdays. Sundays is really weird. The only reason I did this one on Sundays is because the computer that I purchased, I had to return it because it crashed more than the Hindenburg. So it's normally Fridays, Saturdays. I'm going to see if I can, when I do them, I'll maybe an hour before send something that will inform subscribers. The beauty of this is that only subscribers can get to these videos. So that's the benefit of subscribing. So I want to thank all of you for joining in. And as I always say, this is Stuka Joe signing off for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you on the next one.